So I was talking about Odilon Redon, and I was talking about our understanding of art really starts with him. Modern art really starts with him. So you can see here that actually these shapes are all fairly simple. There's actually not that much tangible in this incredibly glorious painting. There are, and here, let me forward these. Yes, great, Olga. Kaina, you need to join, grab the, Kaina, you need to grab the WhatsApp link that's in the chat screen of Zoom and email it to your phone and join from there. Next week, I will send the WhatsApp chat to the coordinators so that you can join it early. Okay. He just like knocked down my thing. And I don't know if there's anybody here who's going to be doing this in black and white. I'm just sending this over to the chat screen. I'm sending over. Is anybody working in black and white today? Is anybody doing, is everybody working in color as far as I know today? Yeah, okay, excellent. Okay, Anya, Claudia, Kaina, you need to go to the chat screen, grab the WhatsApp link, and join from there. It's in the chat screen.
I've joined.
Okay,
I've joined.
Great. So I'm going to wait for you guys to join, and then I'm going to resend this again. From now on, I'll be sending the chat screen. I'll be sending the chat screen to your coordinate, or the chat link in the weekly email, so you guys can sign up early. So Odilon Redon, one of our first like real experimenters with color as the main form of showing depth. So if you look really closely here, you're going to see that although the shapes, a symbolist means the French considered him a symbolist. That means his shapes are fairly simple. If you look at these, you'll see the shapes are fairly simple. There's barely any, there's like just a line to indicate the ground or whatever this is sitting on and the wall. Everything this man does is with color and with layers of color, and he used pastels. So I am going to demonstrate for you how to do one of these flowers, and then I'm going to show you how to draw as much as you want to of this bouquet as you start to practice your own drawing. So can you guys hang tight? I know you like to jump in, but I think it's important here to actually watch me do a flower up close, right? Before we really jump into the, all right, so I'm gonna send this one more time. And for those of you who might be working in pencil, I want you to just watch. I've just sent you the picture in color on the WhatsApp thread, so you can look at it up close and see. Look at it up close, it's astonishing. Look at what he does with his backgrounds. His backgrounds are amazing. His backgrounds, it's funny, Claudia asked me about this earlier because she was already working on an Odilon Redon, and Claudia was asking me about how do I handle this background, right? The backgrounds of his, and here's others of his, right? That's a fairly simple one. Look at this one, which we did in class yesterday. Now, there is a lot going on here. They're really, really beautiful. So you'll also spend, and notice that he does a lot with contrast. So if he's got a light, this is kind of a dark vase mostly. So the color that he's got next to the vase is very light. Not only light, but kind of warm, right? Up here, where there are light flowers, he's mostly got darks in his. So although there's oranges and reds in here, there's purples right around where all the light stuff is, so that those things will kind of pop forward. Even within the bouquets, you'll see that there's a lot of darks kind of in the flowers and the leaves to really highlight the flowers, but these are very simple in themselves. So it's a really interesting, it starts at 9 o'clock. 9:30 kind of 9:30 for you. So it's a real interesting technique that we're about to explore because everything is really kind of flat when you think about it. So this is one of the reasons I really love him. Hold on. Nope, no. All right. So one of the things I want to review with you guys before, any questions before we get going? Any questions? All right, everybody excited?
Just
What's
one.
that?
Do you know where the original of this is?
That's a really good question. I have it from this amazing, oops, dang it. Sorry. Hold on.
It's gorgeous.
Isn't it gorgeous? That's a good question. I have it from this amazing book I picked up these all came from here. This is all Odilon Redon, just as pastels. He did a lot. I mean, I've seen his work at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York. I've seen it at MoMA, the Modern Art Museum. I am sure there's a ton of stuff in France, but let's see. I grabbed it from here. Oh, you know what? It'll tell us here. So these are these paintings. Look at these. It's really, you know, lighting is still not the light is still not fantastic. It's very hard to show how brilliant these are. But let me look and see. There's that one. It may be a private collection, if I remember correctly. Look at that one. I love this one.
Oh, yeah.
So beautiful. This one, let's see. It was owned, it's in a private collection in Switzerland.
Lucky owner.
Yeah, right? Private collection in Switzerland. This pastel, one of the most sumptuous, and it was done of Redon's bouquets, was owned by Mademoiselle Hetty Hohenloser of Winterthur, who with her husband, Dr. Arthur Hohenloser, was among the artist's first champions in Switzerland. It was thanks to these fervent collectors who corresponded with the artist beginning in 1913 that Redon's work began to be valued and studied in Switzerland. I know. It's just so amazing. I really love it. Can you kind of see it?
Yeah.
Oh, just gorgeous. Now, every time we print this, we reproduce it. I had it photocopied. I scanned it. I took a photo of the photocopy of the plate to send to you guys. Of course, the color is going to change. So don't worry about that so much. Just do the best you can with what you got. All right. So are we ready to start? Can I start by showing you how to do this? Awesome. Okay. So if you're working with pastels, the first thing to know is that we are going to do a drawing just like we always do. But instead of using a pencil or charcoal, we're going to use a very light colored pastel. I want to just see if you can see that. Let me see if I can do something I'm going to do something a little bit darker. And because this is a very warm colored bouquet, it's a lot of oranges and pinks and reds. I'm going to use an orange pastel. So what I want is something different, what I want. Sorry, I'm trying to make this big enough so you can see it. What I want is something that is, that will disappear. Now it doesn't disappear, right? You can see here, I'm trying to scrub it, but it will blend in with the colors that I put on top. This is a very warm bouquet. It does not have so many cool colors. There's a few cool greens in here, but mostly things are warm. And I was asked last night about warm and cool. Do you guys understand the difference between warm and cool? Should I talk about that for a minute? If you know, I don't want to repeat. Please. Yes, talk about warm and cool. Okay, so in general, all colors, the colors orange, yellow, let's see if I can do this. Let's see. Yellow, orange, and red are considered warm colors, right? They have warm tones. They look kind of warm and sunny. And the colors blue, purple, and green.
Leah, when
What?
Annika is trying to get on, do you have to let her in?
No, no, you have to give her the password.
I
The
have.
password is always fun. I can't let her in. It
Okay.
won't let me. Make sure everybody's getting the password. I noticed
Yeah, I
a
have.
lot of people aren't. Okay, yeah. So greens, these are generally considered cool colors, and these are generally considered warm colors. However, within this dichotomy, can you see the difference? So cool colors tend to be a little bit more shadow oriented. These colors are more associated with light and the sun, electric light and sunlight. But within that category, there are also, let's see if I can do this correctly. There are warm yellows, and I'll take a picture of this so you guys can really see it. And there are cool yellows. Can you see the difference? What's the difference?
Yeah.
This is warm. This is kind of more reddy and orangey, and this has more white in it. So this is cooler, this is warmer. For oranges, hold on. I think that's a pretty, this is a pretty orange, warm orange. So we've got, oh, sorry. Orange is not what I'm interested in. I'm going to work with the primaries. Sorry. Okay. So there's a warm yellow, there's a cool yellow. There is a warm red, right? And then there's cool reds. Can you see the difference? Can everybody see the difference?
Yes.
Between this
Yes.
and this. So this has more yellow in it. This has a little bit more blue in it, believe it or not. So as we're going through and we're judging colors and we're starting to work with color, one of the things we want to think about is what is the underlying tone, right, of colors. And then let's see. It's the same with blues, believe it or not. There's like, this is a fairly warm blue. Maybe here, even. And then let's see, where's a cooler blue? Yeah, cooler blue. So there are blues which have sort of a little bit more red in them, and blues which are more blue. They kind of lean more towards the blue.
Annika is here now. I'm so sorry for being late.
Oh, that's okay. Don't worry. We're just talking about warm and cool colors. Okay, so I am going to do just one flower right now. And that flower, what's that flower going to be? I'm going to do, I haven't done this bouquet yet. I'm going to do this flower, this kind of pink flower. I'll draw it really big so you can see it. And if you guys want to look at it closely, you can. So in keeping with the sort of theory of drawing, I'm going to start with a kind of light color to do my shape. Notice I'm not drawing any petals. I'm going to get those in later. And there's a little bit of red. For those of you, I don't know, who can't really see this, there's a little bit of red down here. So there's a red flower here. And the rest is just kind of surrounded in blue. And then there's a small kind of dark area here. And then there's this sort of light pink. And it kind of comes up here like this. There's a light pink like that. Okay, so if I, and let me do this again. So if I just try to go with the colors on top, let's do this a little bit this way. Yeah, there we go. So if I just go with the colors on top, let me quickly sketch this in. What I think I see on top, this is a pink. Let me find a pink. Right, there's a pink. And then there's pink in this kind of orangey color, this kind of like orangey color. Let me see if I can get an orange, right? If I just try to go with the top color, the color that I see on the top, My drawing looks pretty flat. Would you agree? This does not have a lot of vibrance. Yeah, and that is because pastels are transparent. So like paint, with pastels, if you want to get depth, you have to layer color. And if you want to, here, let me get this in here. There's this little dot here. And if you want to get vibrant color, you've got to kind of look and get and see what is the color that's underneath here. So if I want to get something that looks more like this, I need to get, I need to think about what is the color that's going to bring out these other colors. And sometimes that's a surprise. Sometimes that's not what you think. To me, this flower, I'm gonna put it up here so you guys can really see it. Can you see this one? It's this one. This flower to me looks very orange, even though it's pink in an overtone. There's some reds and oranges in here. So I'm actually gonna try looking for kind of a, Diana's gonna laugh because I totally did the same thing last night. This is very often the color I like to use for bases with pink and red flowers. Let's see, where are you? I'm actually gonna start, I'm gonna start with perhaps a brown base, like a kind of an orangey brown base. This is like a burnt sienna, but I don't know if that's gonna work. I don't know if I lay this down, is this gonna work? Can I lay lighter colors on top? So before so this is kind of a tan, rusty, can you guys see it, kind of a bricky brown? So before I lay any colors down, or I put this here, I'm gonna test and see what happens if I lay other colors on top. Okay, we're maybe starting to get somewhere. This is kind of a pretty orange. I'm not sure it's exactly the colors that I need. I'm laying a lighter color on top. So I laid this, we started with this, and then I went to this orange, this lighter, this darker orange, and now I'm going to this lighter orange. And now I want to see if I can lay a pink down, kind of pinky flesh color, and will it show up? Right, so I could have done that here. That's a little bit closer to the color. So what I'm looking for, and I don't know, that looks pretty, that actually looks pretty good. I'm using ultimately I'm using several colors here. I've got 5 to try and find. And what I'm doing is I'm testing to see if this color is too dark, will it overwhelm? Because you'll notice pastel kind of mixes together. So if you get too many colors, if I were to put like, I don't know, say a blue down as a base, or a very strong dark brown like this, right? If I were to lay a brown down and try to put other colors on top, you can see that my oranges get kind of sucked into the brown. Can you see that? And it's harder for me to get vibrant colors to come on top. It's harder for me. Look, my pink gets like kind of, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of working, but I'm not getting the sort of vibrancy of color, the lightness of color that I've got with this lighter. So once again, let's do that test. Here's a light orange, a sort of brown orange. And here is a darker brown. So those are the first 2 colors I laid down. And now I'm going to lay down an orange on top of this. I get that color on top of this. I get a kind of mud. So I think this one is probably the better color for me to use for this bright light flower. Does that make sense? And then I'm ultimately layering probably 3 or 4 colors on here. So what does that look like? That looks like this. If I've decided that my base is going to be this bright orange, this sort of orange rusty color, I'm going to go over the whole thing with this rusty color. This is very unintuitive. No one, I think, is going to figure this out on their own. I'll be really dead honest with you. I don't think anybody does. I think people also very messy. So that's why it's important that I want you to watch this, because it is pretty critical to understanding how to work with color. And then I'm putting an orange on top. So already, well, my base is kind of dark. I have, and I'm starting by kind of laying this down fairly roughly. I'm taking my finger to kind of blend it together. So can you see the difference? It's still pretty dark, right? But can you see the difference between here and here? I've already got a richness of color. So now I'm going to go in with this light area here and see if I can get some. This is kind of a peachy, a light peachy color. So look at how nice these light peachy colors sits on top of my dark. Pretty nice.
So do you normally start with dark, or there is no rule to use
You're
dark? Is it
usually
like
in the darker and there's usually a darker color underneath all of the flowers, except like the really light colored flowers, like the whites and the yellows. I like to start with a lighter color and layer darkers in. But almost always there's a darker color. That's a great question. And now you can see I'm starting to get something that looks a little bit more like that flower. Now I want this to be a little pinker. So I'm kind of pulling in some pink, and I can see up here, there's little bits of pink. When you actually get into it, every one of his flowers, you'll see there is so much more going on than you think. There's so much more flowers going on. There's so much more color. There's so much more dynamism. Let's see. And this area is kind of more red. So now I'm looking for kind of a lightish red. Yeah, too orange. Maybe. So you can see I'm doing a lot of experimenting to find, oh yeah, there we go. So now I'm starting to get a little bit of red in here. And then I can go in and lay in these kind of dark little dots, right, that are part of the flower. Look at how this flower is now starting to feel more solid as a flower. I can even go in and lighten more, going in with kind of a yellowy white to kind of go over this area, make it lighter. I can see there's a little bit here.
very curious that normally it's dark because I've heard of it, but I think because in makeup it's always the opposite, so I still cannot.
You have to start with light and then go to darker.
Yeah, I think in makeup it's.
Is that true for all skin tones or just white skin tones?
Oh, maybe. I'm not such a
Yeah,
professional.
so I would say, yeah, so be careful on those, right? Because we don't really know. Yes, no, this is very counterintuitive. The idea that I go darker before I go lighter is very difficult for people to get their minds around. And that's why it's very important for you to see this, this demo. And I'll take a picture of it so you can see it. So now I'm starting to have that feeling of it much better than what's happening over here. I'm starting to have that shape and I'm starting to get in the flowers. At this point, I want to work with the background to help me further shape my flower. And if you'll look here at this little square I drew, once again, I'll take pictures of all of this, you guys, so you can see. There's a little bit of dark, there's dark and then red down here. So I'm going to go in with not a black. I want to wait on the blacks until the very end. Black is a really dominating color. And until you know how to use it, you want to be very sparing with it. So I'm looking for kind of a dark, perhaps this brown color. Oh yeah, that's a good one. No, we're not going to go with green at first. Green will go on top. Green will go on top. We'll do 2 layers of color. I want something really dark. And as I do this, I'm going to start to, we'll get into the green, but on the other layer, the next layer. I'm going to start to shape the flower from the outside. Actually, this flower is fairly simple in shape. Now I can go in with the green and have a green that's like much richer than if I just went in with a green like this. You see how that doesn't really, this doesn't really do very much, but this has kind of a depth. Yeah. So as I go in here, I can kind of go into my pastel, carve and change the shape of my pastel. I'm not stuck working with this outline. I can kind of, if I'm like, oh, really, this kind of bends in like this a little bit more, I can do that. I can go right into my pastel and create that shape. Now, look what happens to this flower. It's really starting to pop. Down here is a red. It's a different flower. Probably, not to make you really crazy, but each time you do this, you're going to want to have a base that is perhaps different. So I'm starting with that rust color again, going to a cool red. So I'm going to go in here like this, as I did up here. And then I'm going to go in with this kind of dark red, dark cool red. And then on top, a nice kind of vibrant red. Look at how nice that looks. If I just put this top color on, doesn't have that power that this one does. So as I'm starting to work around, right, the flowers, and here is actually, there's a kind of lighter, there's actually something lighter going on. There's kind of a light blue flower thing happening. I was to really get into it. But I feel like this is, if you get nothing else out of this lesson, just that you get, there are layers. So number one, we're testing. You're not going for just the top color that you see. You're looking for a kind of base that you think will support these lighter colors on top, that you're testing before you do that. And that you're also using the background. You're staying very simple with your drawing until you get to the point where you're adding in the background. So really, this is a fairly simple shapes. This is fairly simple shapes. And in fact, I could still continue to push it, right? I could still continue to try and push this. And this is where you discover you don't have enough pastel colors. I can be like, I totally need more pastel colors, right? But that's okay. We're just like learning how to layer. And what's really important about this technique is that paint is applied in a very similar way. So a lot of you, when I first started teaching, sent me copies of your paintings that you had done. And what I noticed about almost all of them is that everybody was trying to paint just one layer, just the top layer that they saw. And their paintings look pretty flat. So this is the secret. The secret is there's always a color underneath the color. It's not always the color that you see on top. It influences the color that you see on top. But this color really isn't so much on top. It's really more of a base. These are the colors that I see on top, these oranges and these reds. So are there any questions about this before I talk about today's assignment, before I set that up for you? Any questions? Everybody's mind blown right now? Last week was a little bit easier because I wanted you guys to get like the sort of simple sense of mixing. Okay, so let me take a picture of this. And then I'm going to show you how to set up your lesson today. You have choices. Hold on, get a picture. Hold on. So here are the difference between these two flowers. Here's all the testing. All right. So if you have a choice, you can just take individual flowers and practice them, right? You can just draw them just like I did here, little bit of flower, just little boxes, and do flowers everywhere. Or if you want to do part or all of the bouquet. Uh-oh. You guys give me a minute. I need to grab one more piece of paper. Hold on. If you want to do all or part of the bouquet, I want you to do a simplified grid. So that means we're only going to do the equivalent. In fact, I'm just going to, you're not going to fold this on your paper. You're going to measure it. We're going to fold this twice just to do this quickly. We're only going to do like divide our paper into quarters. Because it doesn't really matter if your drawing is a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller, but we do want to get things into the right places. So what I want you to do is start by giving yourself, you're going to do the whole thing. You're going to give yourself with your pastel, right? A kind of rectangular, that's not really rectangular. There we go. That's a little bit better. Right shape. And then I'm going to divide it in half. I'm going to do my halves. Half of my halfway points here and here. So I can draw this way. And then I'm going to draw my halfway point. Notice I'm using a light colored pastel. Notice I'm still using a light colored pastel. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And then what I'm going to start doing is, yes, was there a question?
Sorry, yeah, is it fine to use newsprint paper?
Yeah, I'm using newsprint. It's perfect to use newsprint. This is a great exercise for newsprint.
It feels nice.
Yeah, it's really good. So you can use newsprint. We'll talk about next week's assignment. And hold on, I'm just gonna draw these out. I'm drawing out the shapes, the simple shapes. You'll notice I'm not really drawing all the shapes of all the flowers, and I'm completely ignoring the leaves. You guys, because you're the last one, you get the most complicated one. I'm sorry. You don't have to do the whole thing. You can only do little bits if you want to. You really don't have to do the whole thing.
I'm working on the one from yesterday.
Right, absolutely. So you're going to start by kind of locating the flowers. You're going to draw the flowers first as simple circles. So I'm doing this one here. Notice I'm not drawing petals. I'm just drawing the flowers. See that? Coming up here. I'm not doing all the flowers either too. And I'm using my grid to help me figure out. Let's see, we got a flower up like this. This rose kind of comes towards the center. We've got that group of flowers. I have this. So you see how simply I'm doing this? You're going to really appreciate Odilon Redon's simplicity here as you start doing these flowers. This is yellow. Here's that big pink one that looks like a bow tie or a butterfly here. On here, I've got these flowers. So notice I'm not worried about leaves. I'm not worried about all the detail. I'm kind of focusing on the bigger flowers. And I'm focusing on their simple shapes. There's a big flower right here. It actually looks kind of like a pinwheel, but we're gonna draw it like a big square, kind of like that. Flower here, flower here, flower here, flower here. So you see, we start like this. Now, if you don't want to do all of this, you might want to just do a little section. Maybe you just want to do a little square here. Maybe you just want to do this much. Oops, doesn't like that. Ah, you really don't like that. Okay, maybe you just want to do a section like here, right? That's also totally okay. You can box that off and decide, but this is how I want you to set up your structure. We're not dealing with the leaves, we're not dealing with the inner areas, and then I will do the vase. Just the simple shapes of the vase. Notice that in this particular case, and in fact, I gotta bring this out a little further. Notice that in this particular case, the vase is not divided in half here. It kind of comes along the edge, the outer, it's mostly on this side of the line. A lot of times we make this mistake and try to create symmetry using these lines, but I want you to really look at the lines that are here. There we go, right? So now I have my vase, and then one at a time, I can start working on my flowers. Maybe I start with this purple one. And I need to leave some room for testing so that when I come down here, so this is a purple flower. If I just go in and do purple, that's not, it's too dark. It's not like, you know, it doesn't have enough value to it. I know it's a little bit tricky to see. If you want to look at the WhatsApps, you can look at this flower while I'm working on it. That's totally fine. That will work. So I'm looking for like, what are the other colors in this flower? I see some blue. I'm going to test some blues. No, that's kind of a greeny blue. I want a kind of more bluey blue. Oh yeah, that's kind of nice. So I have this color, and then I've got this kind of blue, grayish blue on top. That's looking really nice. And really, there's also a little bit of, oh no, nope, that's too brown. If that would work. Nope, all of those things. Well, actually, that's interesting. I'm going to try this kind of reddy brown because I have it, kind of this maroon color. And let's see what happens if I put the purple on top of that. Oh, that's what I want. Oh my God. So this is what I mean by be surprised by your colors. I'll show you how this looks. So here is this kind of, it's kind of a maroony brown. Now you guys can get started if you want to. And then I put this purple on top. Oh, so beautiful. Now I have something that looks a little bit richer than, look at that. If I just put that purple on the side like this, but if I put this maroony brown underneath, it has a kind of lighter and more reddish quality, which I can see in the paper. There's also a kind of white, a blue, sort of a bluish, very cool actually. Blue here and here. And then I can put white on top.
He has such a brilliant purple in his flowers.
Yeah. And that may come from putting a kind of an orangey brown. Try it. You may not have the right color, but if you do, it's totally right. And then the last thing you'll do is you can, in some flowers, you will see he's got kind of a dark line over some areas.
Yeah.
But it's not like this. Be careful not to go womp, 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 right? Our tendency is to want to do that rather than really looking at the shape. So what I'm going to encourage you guys to do here, and then of course I would go into the background, right? Maybe it's very dark in the background. So I'm getting dark in here. And then, yeah, I need to go even lighter. My purple needs to get even lighter. So I'm going to go with a lighter blue.
Yeah, I have problems with that purple.
So you have options. You can do all of this You can just do one flower at a time. You can do a little square of flowers. But when you're working, I want to see your testing. I want to see what your testing looks like, okay? I want to be able to see down here that you're testing colors and you're layering colors rather than just going right, and I will be able to tell. So let me take a picture of this because, yep, we really can't see it. I don't know why. Trying to figure out, maybe I need to have the sun. I don't know. That's a little bit better. Anyway, I'll take a picture so you guys can see it. So this is how you'll start. Any questions? I'm sure there's a lot. That was a lot. I just downloaded a lot of information on you. So I understand if it doesn't, like if you don't pick up everything, that's okay. My hands are so dirty, my phone won't recognize my thumbprint. Now, there are a couple of things. We reviewed these last week, but I'll look at them I'll talk about them this week as well. Here. If you accidentally go too dark with your layers and you're getting a lot of mud, you can take your toothbrush and pull off. I don't know, can you guys see this? Can you see, oh yeah, there you go. Can you see the dust actually flying off the purple, off the paper? The dust is actually flying off. So I'm using a toothbrush to pull off some of the dust, which means I can then go in with layer colors on top, and it's not so muddy. Look, see now I can, like, if I'm totally wanting to change the color of this, I can go in and add like lighter colors, and they actually look really nice on top of these darks. So that is one thing you can do. If you feel like you've accidentally gone too dark, you can pull off some of that extra. You won't get it all off, but you'll have this nice base left behind, and you'll get some of that so that there's not so much mixing happening, right? See how I can kind of go over the top of this? Look at how bright those are looking now. Amazing.
I have a question.
Yes.
About the background.
Mhm.
Maybe silly, but when would you start actually working with the background?
Where,
Like-
which background? The background that's here?
Yes, the orange.
When
like
you finish the flowers.
only
So if you're
then.
doing the whole thing, the background is one of the, or you want, yeah, I'd say you want to finish the flowers. So whatever number of flowers that you're doing, if you're doing the whole thing, do all the flowers first, then you'll start working these inside areas. And then you'll start working, and the base, right? And then you'll start doing the background. The
Because
background
I'm
will
very
be,
tempted to do the background to bring it out, but
do
it's
not,
Okay,
because
I
you
won't.
don't, your focus is the flowers, right?
Okay.
So you want the flowers to go in first. Good question. Great question, Natalia. You want the flowers to go in first. And
Mhm,
then you use you adjust your background to help push the flowers forward. The
mhm.
flowers are the most important thing here, right? They are the most, that's our prominent note. So we've got to lay those down first so that we can then establish what else we need to do.
Mhm.
Good question. I'm glad you asked it. And this is going to take you longer than an hour or whatever, however much left we have in class. So I would totally encourage you to experiment, to like spend more time with this. Like this could take you probably to finish this.
Leah, can you please send this picture with black markings?
Oh, you mean with this?
Yeah.
Sure.
The one.
Totally. Let me do that now. I'll try to remember to get all this stuff to you guys beforehand. As we start going into color, this is where Zoom kind of fails a little bit. The camera isn't good enough. There we go. There's this. And then there's this. So you can see, sorry, I changed, because I went over with reds, that purple flower is now looking very bright and red. And for those of you like Needy, I know, she has pastel fixative, or hairspray. Both of these can work. The other way you can kind of fix your base layer so it doesn't blend in too much and mute your top layers is to use spray. I think I did this last week, but let me, and for those of you who missed last week's lesson, it's totally on the YouTube page, and it's a good beginning practice for trying to do pastels because it's a simpler version. So if I want to, so if you'll notice here, I've got this purple down here. If I try to put yellow in, which is a complement of purple, I get this kind of muddy color. But if I spray the purple, I have to wait a minute till it dries. If I spray the purple and then I put yellow on top, the yellow doesn't mix and it looks very poppy, bright, and amazing. The thing is, spray will, as you notice, the spray, here's an undarkened, here's unsprayed purple, here is sprayed purple. The spray will get rid of the sort of top brightest layer of your pastels. So at the very end, you're going to need to have this. This is the problem with pastel. As you can see here, it comes right off. We put up with this because the colors are so incredible and there's nothing like it. There's really nothing like the colors of pastels here, which is why we do it. But it's kind of a hassle too. And I like working with pastels because not only are the colors vibrant, they really get us ready for painting. We're going to be painting all through January through June. We're going to be using acrylic paint. And then for those who want to, we're going to move to oil. And then we're going to go to watercolor. So it's really good to have this kind of foundation for mixing, because that is the non-intuitive part of this process. If you don't know how to mix colors, you're going to get a lot of, and how to layer colors, you're going to get a lot of mud. So what I like about pastels is it starts to introduce that idea. Still not quite dry yet. No. I do notice that the moment I started teaching pastels, I cheered up immensely. Not that I was particularly depressed before, but like I really find that working with color is just so wonderful. Oh, hey, Jack, you just jumped in. You're right, Jack. We changed it to, I changed it because there was a problem. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Oops, sorry, I sent that to Kaina. Sorry, Kaina. Let me get this to Jack. Right here. Darn. Okay.
The sound of pastels.
I know. Anybody having fun yet? And I know, you guys, that was a lot of explication, a lot more than I like to do. But this is important. This is important because it's not sort of, unless you know how this is color theory at its, and mixing at its primest. So I really want to make sure that when we start working with color, we understand the basics. And it's hard. It's not, it may not be easy, but aren't these colors amazing?
It's beautiful.
Yeah. I want us to start with the deep theory. That's why when somebody says to me, oh, I don't understand skin tones, or I don't know how to do this, I'm like, that's because you don't know the basic color theory, you and everyone else. So when we start talking about it, and that's because it doesn't feel logical to our left brain. So understanding of building a painting or a drawing really has to come from shape, value, and then what is the color underneath the color? I can show you a painting that I am working on right now in oil. And you can see this in a lot of Diana's work too. She's working in acrylic. You'll see her layers as she builds up a painting. Similar things are happening.
Yeah, it gets very flat if you don't do that.
You have to. It's just paint is transparent.
Yeah.
All right, I don't think you guys need to look at this anymore. Does anybody need, Jean? Hi. Hello, lovely.
Hello.
Hug.
Thanks, you too.
Guess who joined class last night in LA time?
Cindy.
Cindy. Yes. She says that's 9 o'clock at night in New York is the only time she has time to do it. Aditi. All right. So Aditi, I don't have your, I'm going to do this. Let's see. So for those, Jean, I can add you, but Aditi, I don't have you on, I didn't see you come in there. I don't have you on the WhatsApp chat, so I am going to, if you go to the Zoom chat screen, I am going to put in an invite to our WhatsApp group. You want to send that link. So you go to the Zoom. Oh, nope, that's to Sandra Mahler. Nope, I want to send this to everyone. Let me do that again. So go ahead and join the chat screen, the WhatsApp chat group. You can send this link to your phone. Jean, I'll add you in. Hold on.
Okay.
Did you just get here?
Yeah, did the class start at 11:30?
No, it starts at 10. It starts an hour earlier because India.
Okay.
Because of
So
India. No, because India doesn't. Here we go. Great. Thank you, Aditi. Gotcha. All right. So yes. So this class has been going on for an hour already. I'm sorry.
That's okay. My bad.
Hold on, I'm gonna send you guys. So wait, actually, I got you, Aditi, and I'm gonna add Jean in here because I've got her email and her address. And hold on. Yes, there was some confusion. We had to push it back an hour because we didn't want India starting at 10:30. So they don't
that's
do,
right.
because they don't do daylight savings time. So got it. Nice to meet you, Aditi. Welcome. So Aditi, this class actually started an hour ago. So classes started because we want the class to start at 9:30 India time. So if you just joined, oops, hang on. You may want to, I just did an hour of instruction that I'm not going to be able to repeat again. So you may want to catch the video for this one and join in, or I will send you what people are doing. Are you working in, Aditi, are you working in, Jean? That's our source today.
Yeah, I
And
have another
I'll also
source I can
send it
send
in
you
black
my-
and white. There we go. So you should
Free
be able to see it.
Oh,
Sorry, were you asking me a question? This is
I'm
Aditi.
saying that, did you just jump in now or have you been here the whole time? Did you just join now, the class? Yes, Aditi, I was asking.
Yeah, I just joined now. Sorry, my internet connection is a bit unstable.
Oh, okay. So are you planning on working with pastels today or are you working with pencil and paper? Hey, Aditi, I need you here just to find out, just so I can give you something to do. Oh, that's coming along, Diana.
yeah,
Coming.
it's pretty dull though.
Well, yeah, I mean, you need to pop your colors up. You need to go
Yeah.
brighter.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, I like colors, but I don't normally use these strong colors. So it's,
Right.
yeah.
So, I mean, the other option is you can just do what you want to do.
No, it's fine.
For
I
the
like-
practice, I like to copy him, but like, that's great. All right. So Aditi, this is what I would say. I just sent you a picture of today's source in black and white and in color. It's across our chat screen, so you should be able to see it. Oh yeah, that's starting to come together, Olga. I feel like, oh, I like it. Yeah. I feel like your purples are a little dark. Is there a way you can lighten those up a little bit?
Yeah, because I was using brown.
Yeah. Maybe that brown is, well, try going over with like a kind of lighter blue and blend that in with your purple and see what happens.
Okay, thank you.
Very nice. All right. Okay.
He has a great way of working with colors though.
He's amazing. He's a master, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, hi Leah.
Yes, hold on just a second, Edie. I'm just looking here. Oh, I like that. Although it looks to me like your white got mixed up with your purple and it's too blended and dark. Too,
It's frozen.
was that your question?
Yeah, hi. Um, I just wanted to know, like, every time we mix the colors, do we need to smudge it, or mix them, make them at a level with your hands?
I mean, you can use your
We need
hand.
to rub on the colors.
Yes, you can use your hand or you can use a paper towel.
Okay.
You can use a paper towel.
Okay, yeah. No, I just wanted to know because this is the first time in my life I'm working.
Yeah,
with
yeah,
this.
yeah. It's very different, isn't it?
Yeah. So I just wanted to know, like, is it mandatory or there's another way we
Absolutely.
can do it?
I know there's a lot here. Nice. And by the way, really nice to see all the new people here. Nice to see you, Aditi. Nice to see Jean joining us from New York. Jean, are you doing pastels or are you working watercolor?
I'm just taking a stab at pastels,
Okay, awesome.
just for fun.
So I am sorry that you missed the other, the instruction, but that will be, I will post that as soon as I'm done, and I'll make sure you get a link so you can see the kind of beginning of this. Maybe everybody's probably like, you don't want to see it. It's really boring. She talked on and on and on.
Oh, no.
She never stopped talking. It was an hour of talking and talking and talking.
I know better than that.
And demo. It's a lot. Let's see. Oh, Anik, that's looking nice. But Anik, your red flower, what was your base?
No, this is the red is base for violet ones.
Oh, the violet ones. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm
Cool.
trying this.
Trying this
Inspired
technique.
by the
Are
dog
you checking,
of Rihanna.
are you oh, I see. I totally see. I think that actually worked out pretty well because there's a lot of red in these purples. Have you noticed? They're almost
Yes.
mauvier.
Yes.
They're like more mauvier. They're more mauve.
Yes.
I
know what you mean.
Yeah, they're more. Let us just take the English language to another ridiculous height. Yeah, there's a lot more red than you think, and you don't really see it until you mix it in. I like your background, kind of. It's cool. Nice to see everybody, by the way. Very nice to see you.
Working on this can really take a while, right? It's not a fast medium when you get into the color mixing.
Guys, I'm popping off for just a second to get a cup of tea. I'll be right back. Sorry. And once again, this class will be, like all the others, is available on the YouTube channel. So, which you can get by going to the Art at Work portal. And this will be uploaded. And I did another class with LA yesterday, the West Coast, US West Coast. Similar structure, but different source.
That's the source I'm working on.
That's what Diana's working on. Oh, kinda, that's looking pretty good. Very nice. Keep working.
Thank you.
Yes, Rashmi, that's looking okay, but I feel like your pink flower, orange flower is way too bright and orange.
Okay.
It's more subtle. There's more subtle let me see. Let me look up it closer. That's okay.
Okay.
Actually, I didn't realize there was a second flower next to it. Okay, keep going. Yep, good job. I can't believe you guys are doing the whole thing. This is a huge project, so don't expect to be done with it right away. These things take, I'd say, well, maybe if you're doing it small, you might be able to do it in 3 hours. But they're long haul stuff, so. And I very much appreciate you guys. I know we've been tweaking and changing the class, like the rules of the class, how you get into the class, how you get to the WhatsApp thread. I'm trying to find something that's sort of the most logical. It kind of takes a lot of the work out of the beginning of class so that we can get to the art faster. So thank you for being flexible as I figure that out. Zoom actually made me put a password into my classroom. I didn't want to do it. And that's why that's there. And the rest is all just me trying to figure out how to deliver information quickly and easily. Is anybody enjoying this?
Yeah.
Yes.
In a kind of masochistic way.
Yeah. I love you, Diana.
His flowers have so many colors.
Isn't he amazing?
The more it's never ending.
Can you imagine what these would look like in person?
Oh God.
Yeah.
I have seen one pastel in person. It's unreal. Unreal, the vibrancy of the color. Yes, and he's a master. He does everything. Everything is with these subtle shifts of color, these many layers. His backgrounds, wait till you start getting to the background.
It might take a while.
But does this not answer some questions for you about color? About like why you've had problems in the past with color? So it starts to answer these questions about color and layering color, which I think, like I said, until you know, they're not really intuitive. You know, we are very direct, straightforward thinkers. People are. We see what's on top and we think that's it. That's what I go for. And so this is about construction.
Every bit has so much of detailing.
I know, right? Are you feeling a little regretful you did the whole thing? You don't have to finish it. I give you total like.
No, I'm just now going to concentrate on 1 or 2 flowers.
Yeah, but you can work on this all week, right? Until the next one.
Yes,
and it's the same. I have another demo with a different flower, a red one, in a different bouquet in yesterday's class. So you can look at that one as well. You can just watch that and see. Yeah, and that's why I used to start pastels with this description, and I realized it was too hard. Like you needed something, last week's class was easier, right? Like you just had to find 2 colors and that was it. And what we were copying was a very vibrant, like simply colored oil painting. So it wasn't hard to do it, So I wanted you to get used to this idea of layering color before we really talk about what layering color means. Jean, what should we do for watercolor tonight? Any ideas? We could do a bird.
Sorry, I was on mute. How about jellyfish?
Oh, you did so well. I'm not sure I can nail that. Let me take a look. I'll see if I can find something. We'll do an animal.
No. You don't have to do jellyfish.
Oh, Anik, that's coming along. Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. So you'll notice that the lighter colors with yellows and whites, you may want to start with the lighter pastel and then drift in the darker bits that you see, because the lighter tend to be overwhelmed by the darker colors. However, most other colors benefit from a base that's a little bit darker than what the top colors are, which feels weird. When you paint, we always go darker. When we work with acrylic and oil paints, which we'll do, you're going to see we always go darker. That's always the case.
I've just sent you the next stage of that.
Yeah. Olga, that looks great. That's coming along nicely. Oh,
I just love mixing the colors. I'm now mixing every color with every other color.
Yeah. So you're learning. I can see it. You can see it. Now, if you're feeling like my colors got too muddy and you have either hairspray or you have pastel fixative, you can spray that and then let it dry and put your lighter colors on top. So if you feel like there's areas where you're losing your lights because you've got too much dust on there, you can spray it. But that is not the final solution. Oh, I can't believe I used that phrase. That's a terrible phrase to use. That's not the best solution. The next week, we're gonna do an entirely different and much freer way of using pastels. You guys are going to love it. Compared to this week, it's much less labor intensive and it's way more fun. And it's how I do most of my pastels work when I do pastels. Anik, that really is turning out nicely.
Thank you. Although I don't know, I have impression.
Just keep going. Just keep going.
Still, I cannot believe that it's with pastels.
Do it bit by bit. Yeah, you're in the phase now where you just need to go flower by flower.
Oh yeah.
Flower by flower, and then add in the background.
I have to confess I'm in some kind of book collecting mode lately, and I have to show you what arrived today because this is just perfect for today. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh yes, Werner's. Yep, yep.
Oh my, this. I
So
think,
great.
Yeah, it arrived today, and I would love recommend it. I mean the colors
Werner's
are not-
colors. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like
it's awesome. It's helpful for you. You're finding it helpful?
Yeah, I just started to look through it, and I love the descriptions. It's just so fun, like pointing like to nature, like this can be found on the.
Oh, look at what
Isle.
Anik's holding up right now, Natalia.
It's a handshake.
They're doing the same shopping.
It's Werner's handshake, let's say.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah, I was
interesting.
thinking-
I have found with color theory that it is really hard to find what will work for you. There's a lot of ways that people talk about it, and some people kind of take to it and understand it more naturally, and others don't. Are you all right there, Sandra? I'm just peeking in. She's resting. Good.
Yeah, I was just thinking it would be nice when we can eventually, meet.
I think she's
to-
close. now.
She's just sleeping.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
To share resources and books, so we will have our own library here.
Yes.
So it would be, yeah, when we can
I
eventually.
want you guys to imagine what you're going to know by this time next year. By this time next year, you're going to know so much more. Jean's laughing because she's like, I know this because I've been doing this for 4 years, 3 years, 4 years. 4 years. Yeah. Yeah, Jean's like what you learn every year is mind blowing. And then you go back, like the first time, Jean, everybody did ink. It was terrible, right? It was a total disaster. The first time I tried to teach ink, it was, oh, there you go, Diana. Now you're starting to get this. Now you're starting to get the color pops. Yep. Looking nice.
It's still like.
Is it okay if I change the drawing a bit to like
Yes,
what
totally kind of change it the way you want to. Absolutely. Make it what you want. That's the only way that'll keep us motivated to finish things, right? Like you get inspired. I'm just glad you spent time kind of inspired by him. I just like us to spend a little time with the masters, and he's one. Diana, I would say work with your backgrounds around your flowers. So really look at what he does with his background around each flower.
Yeah, and I was looking at the first picture you sent, which was so much more subdued in colors.
Yes.
And so I don't know which one to go with.
I would go with that one. I know that I know that Rollo pulled out that one. I don't actually like the one he pulled out. It's a little too bright, but I understand why he did it, and I put it through because I think for some people it's easier to see the color that way. But I really prefer the subdued version of this. But there's a lot going on in that subdued version. Look at the backgrounds. So look at how the backgrounds are meaning not just the leaves, the inner leaves, but that sort of out exterior. And you're going to learn a lot about what he does with color there, where those edges
Okay,
are.
I'll work with that.
It's amazing. Anyway, so when I first tried to teach ink, you guys, it was a total disaster. In fact, I was sure I did this for Jean's group the first year that we were teaching art. And then I never did it again until I started teaching online this year with you.
Yeah, we took like 2 years off of ink.
Yeah, we did. That's coming along. So Jean, I want you to watch the first. Yeah, because there's a whole, like, it really did take an hour to go through.
Right. Like I said, I have no idea what I'm doing.
But you're enjoying yourself, correct?
Yeah, I feel like a little kid playing.
Yes, then that's what is good. That is really good.
But I should go back to work, so.
Really? Why?
Yeah. I should.
All right.
All right. See you all later.
All right. Bye, Jean. See you tonight. Looking very nice, Anya. Coming along. I like those purples. Ooh, and I like your layering is working very nicely. Good job. Just keep going. You know, you're at that phase where it's just like, I just have to keep working and getting more of the flowers done. And that's just what it is. And I'm glad Sandra is here with us, even if she is taking a nap. It's good.
It must be tough going through that.
Horrible. Well, you know.
Yeah, but I didn't have it that tough. I didn't have it that tough.
Yeah.
Return to
Really, dozing off.
We are really we've been watching you peacefully dozing off.
I've got a cat on top of me. And,
I am so glad you're here, Sandra, and I would like you to keep coming even if you can't do the class. Will you just sit with us?
The next Thursday I can't because my chemo is at 11:30, so it's like half an hour into the class.
Yeah.
But normally I feel better, but because of this week
just
I
sit
don't.
and yes, we like it that you're with us. Please just be with us. It's really
Yeah,
lovely.
and if you want to, I mean, I'm always up to just paint together if you want to do that.
That's right.
That's really nice. Yes, I need to do that because it will bring me so much. But at the moment, I'm only like flat on my back, really.
Okay. When
I
you
wake
get
up in the
better, when
morning,
you get
feed
to
the
feeling
cats, and
better, we'll maybe form a couple of, maybe I'll have Diana host, maybe Diana will host a painting session that works for your time, and anybody
Sure.
else who wants to join in could do it.
Absolutely.
Sorry, I totally volunteered you for that. Oh,
That's
Annika,
okay.
that's coming along nicely.
That's totally okay. I'm happy to do that.
Do you want to do that, Diana? I think that would be great.
Sure.
And if I can join you, I will. Very nice. Nice, Annika. Great. I love. God, that's a great picture. Isn't that just delicious right there? What Annika just sent by. It's like all the pastel sticks and all the testing. Are you enjoying this process? It's weird, isn't it?
Oh, it's great. It's difficult.
It's great and it's difficult, but it's so, this, I will be dead honest with you guys. When I first started teaching art, so I first started doing art when I was 30, and I didn't know how to do anything. And then I took a pastel class with this woman in Seattle, Washington, where I was living. I was her TA, so I got to take the class for free because I was totally broke. I had no money. And this class is a total ripoff of what Terry taught, because I had never had a class so completely teach me everything I needed to know about colors and mixing. She was a brilliant teacher. And then the first class I ever taught, which is when I was living in Budapest 3 years later, was a pastel class. That was the only thing I felt like I could handle, because I had, like, her structure was so clear. And it's interesting to me how I feel like she's really influenced all of the teaching I've done ever since, because I just love how she talked about color. I love how she does. I mean, I just think it's amazing. So you're getting this. I wish I could remember. God, what was her last name? I should really remember. She was so amazing. What a wonderful teacher.
Was that here or in Budapest?
She was in Seattle, Washington, actually, which is where I lived before I went to Budapest. She worked at a school. She taught at she's a professional artist, a teaching artist, who taught at a school called the Gage Academy of Fine Art. And I took a lot of classes there. And she just was it for me. She taught me everything. I think she taught me how to be a teacher. She taught me how to, like, her construction of her class was amazing. There's one other teacher that's really taught me about how you actually teach students. That was a teacher who taught a figure drawing class here in Portland. But besides that, it was Terry and her, that the structure of their classes was so clear. And the way she talked about, and we did a lot of Odilon Redon, copies. And then we went to real subjects. And it was just so cool. Like, I actually have I found my drawings from that class recently. I should see if I can show them to you. Hold on. I think I actually have them here. Do you guys want to see them? If I can find them.
Please.
My first, they were like so long ago.
So did you just start drawing, painting when you were 30, like for the first time? Or did you start teaching just out of curiosity?
She started painting when she was 30.
Painting. Oh. Cool.
Never, maybe it's not too late for me too.
Never too late.
Yeah, that's inspiring.
Totally. I always regretted that I abandoned it for like 15 years almost.
Ooh.
Here's one. Look, I don't know if you can see this, but here, I'll spotlight this so you guys can see my screen. Oh, I spotlighted. Sorry, Sandra, I spotlighted you too. Here, hold on. Let me remove this spotlight. I don't know if you can see this, but she actually wrote notes on it down here. There's a whole set of notes for everybody's. That's like one of the first.
It's pretty.
Yes, I love this because actually it's very beginner in my view. I love to see work where I was like, this is the very beginning of my kind of, career as an artist. And she had all kinds of notes. What did she say? She said, yeah, good, right? Good work. I like this study very much. Good drawing and varied and very interesting mark making. The colors are very pleasing together. The background and ground are always important. I didn't have that in at all in this drawing. So she's like, you need to get your background in. She was an amazing teacher. She was so amazing. Like she did, let me see if I can find any more. I don't know if I have any more, but I did save that one. Oh, here's one. Here's one. Here's another one. Here's another one from that class.
There you have background.
Right there, I got my background in. They're also kind of fading because they've been dragged all over the world. Oh, here's one. Oh, here's one of my Odilon Redons. Check this out. Here we go.
Oh, nice.
It's a mirror. It's a mirror of the one I'm working on.
Yes, it's the same one.
Yeah.
Yep, it's the same one.
And you also choose to make the vase blue.
Yeah, the vase was blue.
It was?
Mm-hmm.
It didn't look blue to me.
It looked black. I know.
Yeah.
It actually is blue, believe it or not. So that just shows you, Diana, you know the color even if you don't know the color. Let's see. Where else is there? Oh my God, I'm so glad I saved these. Oh yeah, here's more. Here's like single flowers. So this is from my class. So you are getting the instruction, the same instruction you're getting is what I got in this class. This is all 20 years old. Any more here? Maybe one more. Nothing else. Oh, here's another one. I think this was a real bouquet. This was a still life.
Yeah, you got the water working.
What was that?
The water worked. That's a hard one.
Yeah. That was why I knew I didn't need to quit. I could become an artist. Yeah, we were dealing with clear glass vases and things.
Yeah.
So I was thinking we might try, with this new technique we're going to do next week, I was thinking we might try a landscape. But it'll be very easy because you get to pick the colors of the landscape. Some kind of, sorry, I also have noticed that I don't use pastels very much because they make me cough.
Or you get dust in your lungs?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're not great. They're not actually fantastic for me, so I don't use them very much. Very nice, everybody. Kind of, that's looking great. Anik, that's coming along. What was I going to tell you? Oh yeah. Oh, Olga, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
God, excuse me. Let me drink some tea and hopefully get back to that.
Yeah, it actually makes a difference.
Kind of to answer your question, sometimes, usually brown is warm, but not always.
Carefully.
So sometimes brown is cool and sometimes it's warm. Usually it's warm, but not always. If the brown has more green in it, or the brown has more kind of yellow, sort of a, yeah, really actually, if the browns have more greens in them, they are cooler. So a burnt, you'll often see colors burnt umber and raw umber, burnt sienna and raw sienna. If you look at the raw sienna and the raw umber, they both have more yellow, green in them, which makes them cooler.
This is a more cool color, right?
Can you show me? Let me see. Let's see. Hold on, let me look. I'm going to replace the spotlight so I can see you big. No, that's a warm color. That's a very warm color. It's got yellow, it's like orange. Yep,
Thank
very
you.
warm. You're welcome. I'm glad you're asking these questions because it's not always intuitive. We have to train ourselves into it. So don't worry if it's not clear. Yeah. If something is more orangey, it's definitely warmer. Diana, I think if you wanted to host like a 9 a.m. West Coast session,
Sure.
We could get a lot of these guys to join if they wanted to.
Sure.
Or actually, if you went even earlier, if you went at 8, then India could join at their same time.
Yeah, happy to.
So Sandra, my question is, after watching this tutorial, I mean, I think of you as very like proficient, like really skilled with pastels. Does this get you thinking does this deepen your knowledge in any way that's helpful?
Yes, it'd be interesting when I actually do one of mine. I think I sort of do it instinctively.
Yes, I do. I think you do too. I think you do too. What I think you might, you know what I think actually, when I think about what you've done, I think you might spend less time struggling with the right color if you went a little darker with some of your bases. That's what I've always thought. So, I mean, I don't want to, the truth is you get a good result. So that is always, you're always getting an amazing result. So you don't have to listen to anything I say because you already know how to do this. And I agree that you're doing stuff instinctively, but I think some places you can look at where your cat, where the fur is darker and more neutral. And you might, it's bright, but it's not as bright as everything else. And you might try a little, you might play around with the base a little bit that's darker. Or you could actually start with a dark base, spray it, and then put your lights on top. That would look amazing. So that would be my 2 suggestions in terms of maybe how to use it. And Sandra, you're not having to work right now, right? Are you?
I am. I'm supposed to work today, but I think I'm going to say I can't.
You should not.
I don't think I'm capable. The other day I was working on Monday and I kept falling asleep to the point where the machine logged me off. So
Oh.
I contacted my boss. I said, I'm sorry, I can't do this.
No, you should.
You're such a trooper, Sandra. You're a trooper.
Well, I'm trying to work what I still can.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that this is the worst phase, you know, this first round, because it's very poisonous chemo.
Right.
I'm hoping the next round will be easier.
Yes. Yes. Or maybe your body's more used to it. Your body can.
I don't think it gets used to it because it's cumulative.
Yeah.
But yeah, that biopsy yesterday really took it out of me. It was like a 3-hour deal. This is just an area that they're not sure what that is. The MRI, so I'm hoping it's not cancer because it will simplify surgery. But I'll find out tomorrow or the next day.
Okay, good. You need to let us know, and let us know if there's anything we can do.
Yeah.
And then,
thank you. No, this was very nice to be able to join you. I did have some paper here, but a cat got
yeah,
above me
I
and
mean,
completely fell asleep.
do what you can do, but be with us. That's what we want you to do. We want you to be with us.
I watched the first video, so thank you very much.
Was it helpful?
Yes, it was. It was very nice. It was
That
very
one
nice
was
to watch.
easier.
Yes, but the bouquet is a bit difficult. But,
yeah.
I think also one of the things you said was I had seen online several people mentioning this about you know, when there's some dark areas to have like a lighter background next to it.
Right.
I always felt if you did this, it would be too obvious, but it makes a lot of sense.
No,
so
it's the trick. It's like a parlor trick. It's like the trick of drawing. And you'll see he does it. Odilon Redon does it like brilliantly. Like you don't even know he's doing it. When you look at those backgrounds, you're like, this is crazy. Yeah, it's fascinating. It's like really fascinating.
I think for fur, yes, I think it's useful to actually go quite dark.
Yeah, my thought is that with your kitty's furs particularly, that there's a kind of a brown, there's probably a brown, a sort of orangey brown that would be a nice dark layer that the top layers would look really nice on top of. Do you know what I mean?
Because I'm getting better. I'm still learning how to do fur, but I find that one of the things that really gives depth to fur, at least to a cat, I don't know about horses because theirs is so short,
right,
is when actually you can still see underneath. So you need 3 tones, right?
Yes.
So you have some very light, you have some medium, but you can still see the very dark underneath.
The dark areas
that
underneath.
Really gives it depth.
Yes, that's exactly right. Which means you start with the dark and then you layer in the light. But there's also a kind of, there's areas of the fur that are more in shadow. And I think those are also areas that we can push back if we're mixing correctly. Hi, Marianne. Are you just coming to say hello?
Well, I thought I heard it's back an hour, so you're ending in 2 minutes?
We're ending in 2 minutes. I'm sorry. I love you. Hello. You guys, this is Marianne. If any of you saw, she's in New York. If any of you saw the Weathermen pictures, paintings.
Oh, I love
green background. And the pigs. Oh my God.
Yes, we did.
Wow, what a great group. Look at everybody's like.
These guys are from Poland and DC and LA and India.
Amazing.
It's an awesome, this is an awesome group, I have to say. It's a really great, like we have people from all over.
Oh, great. Well, you know, I did it. I dipped my toe in and now I'll be here next week. So.
You bet, you must.
Yeah. I'll show you though, I want to show you something. Let me turn the light on and I'll show you.
Okay.
Well, it looks great, Diana.
It really does, Diana. So now you're starting to get it. You're pushing the background. I can see it, and that's starting to push things
now
forward.
I'm pushing the greens a little bit more too.
Very nice. Very nice.
I made a still life box
Oh my God. Look at that, you guys. Here, I'm going to spotlight Marianne so you can see
Yeah,
this.
please.
Look at this.
So I bought cardboard that, you know, is like black on one side. And I made a still life box so that like, cause I really, you know, my favorite thing is this like light and how light behaves. And so it kind of like controls the light.
Oh my God, that's really
Wow.
cool. So do you have a light, is that just regular light shining through the hole in the box, or do you have some on the top of the box, or do you have?
Top of the box, yeah, this is my basement. It's like connecting, see, this is the light.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
It's sort
I
of
love that.
It's in the
I
box.
love that. Look at what that does, you guys. That
Yeah.
is fantastic.
So it makes a really pretty still life. You know, like it doesn't flatten out, I guess.
I love it. I love it.
So
Hey,
I-
listen, Diana is probably going to start hosting. Oh, there you go. There he is. All
Yeah.
right.
Oh, beautiful.
Yep.
Are you starting with pencil or charcoal there?
So it's on a canvas board, you know, those little ones, and it just has a ground of raw umber, and then I used pencil.
Nice. I love it.
So
you guys will love watching Marianne work. She's got a wonderful way of, she's a pro. She's been trained. She's like, she knows
another
what she's doing.
frustrated knowledge worker, just like everybody else.
Right? Let's see. We're working with pastels today in this group. Oh, that's coming along, Needy. How are you feeling? I love, in fact, I really love your rose and your pink flowers. I think you're really getting it. Are you feeling good about that, Needy?
Oh, yes, it is
Yeah.
indeed very satisfying, you know.
Yes.
Otherwise, I was just thinking of using the plain pink color.
Yes.
The tray has so many choices. I never thought that
That you could layer like this. See, this is why I was like, this is why you don't know how to do skin colors, because you don't know how colors layer. Now that we know how colors layer, we can start to talk about mixing. We can start to talk about all those things. Kind of, that turned out great. That turned out really great. Marianne, they're sending stuff across a WhatsApp thread. Here, I'll drop you in for a minute. Let's go for a couple minutes longer. I want to actually talk to you guys about, I think I have Marianne in here. Yep, I'll add her to the group. I want to talk to you about next week's assignment, because next week, here, let me spotlight myself so I can show you. So next week, we are going to be doing an entirely different and much less tedious subject. Way to get sort of depth with our pastels. Let me see here, where did I put it? Instead of doing a lot of layering, hold on. Instead of doing a lot of layering to build just up the right colors from basic paper, I want you to use something called sanded paper. So sanded paper, actually, it comes in many colors. This is a yellow, right, sanded paper. It's like cardstock. It's kind of floppy. It's on, I have the pastel list on the Work for Art class. You will see this, but I'll also send a note across for people to try and get it. So this is, it actually feels like sandpaper. It has like kind of a little tooth. If you can hear, I'm scratching my finger. That's like this. And then we are going to, and you're also going to need either some Gamsol or turpentine or rubbing alcohol, which I know most people have. So you're going to want some of this. You're going to want your pastels. You're going to want some rubbing alcohol. And what we're going to do are create really fun toned backgrounds like this. From here, we're going to work with a marker and then put like a Sharpie marker, a black Sharpie marker, and then we're going to put color on top of that. And that looks amazing. And it is way more fun and way less tedious and time consuming than what I just taught you. You're probably going to be mad at me because it's so great compared to this, but the truth is you need to know what we did today too. So I will send all this. I will also send the WhatsApp. I will create and send the WhatsApp thread across, and I will send the source two coordinators as well, so that they'll be able to send that to you, and you'll have it all available before class starts, and you can follow along better. Yes, kind of. Yeah, sorry, who is that? Who is first?
This is, Leah, I did not get that sanded pastel paper. I tried a lot. So any other thing that can be used? I have
You can
everything
probably
else.
use heavy watercolor paper. That might work.
Which is the mixed media.
What's that?
paper?
Well, I mean, mixed media can work. You can try it with mixed media, but it may fall apart. But like, so a thicker cardstock paper is better, not Bristol. The only thing you don't want to use is Bristol. Try, mixed media paper, but what you want is something that feels like a card, right? That feels like kind of, so heavy watercolor paper can work for this technique. We'll try that.
Leah, the sanded paper, is it like 400 or is it like?
I mean, I let people choose, but yeah, I like to use 400. It's a nice medium number. Kaina, what was your question?
1 second, I forgot.
Hey, that happens to me too. Since I turned 52. I forget all the time what my question is.
Yeah, I don't have rubbing alcohol.
You have rubbing alcohol?
Turpentine.
What?
I have turpentine.
Turpentine. Okay, turpentine will work. So you'll want turpentine, you'll want some kind of heavy duty paper. If you can get your hands on sanded paper, that's awesome. If not, try a heavy watercolor paper, will probably work. And make sure you have a black Sharpie marker as well, a big thick one, because this is what we're going to be working with next week. It's messy once again, but it's a really fun way of doing pastels. And then we have options, people. We have choices. You could tell me what you want to do. Anybody else want to show what they're doing? Why don't you send one last swing of your work before we sign off? Marianne can see what we've been doing. Send a picture across the thread.
That would be so great.
Marianne, I just connected you to our WhatsApp thread. It's called 1112 Block 2 Art. So send it all over. I want to see what your last view is. These guys, most of these guys, Marianne, have never used pastels before.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's really, so you will be impressed because they, Anik, great. So this is Anik from Poland, just came through.
Oh my God, wow. You've never used pastels?
This is a acrylic.
My
She's
second
never
time.
used, but she's good.
Amazing.
This is acrylic. This is Diana doing an acrylic painting version.
Wow.
In the LA Press
so
Club.
fantastic.
Aditi, great. Nice work. Really good. Aditi's in Bangalore. Rashmi you're getting there. Rashmi, I know you're going to get there. It's coming along.
I can see that. Yeah. That's cool that she's working inside to out.
Yep, exactly. I'm having them all work inside to out. So they're doing it because I told them to. Oh, Anya, very nice. That's coming along beautifully.
Oh, wow.
This, Anya, might be your medium, one of your mediums. I'm sorry, because it's really a mess.
Yeah, now my blanket is like all colored. I didn't think
it's everywhere. You're just gonna like have to, Olga, beautiful. Olga's doing just little, some people are doing the whole thing and other people are doing. Natalia, send us. Oh, Annika, that came up, boy. Oh, Annika. Very nice. Very, very nice.
Yeah, that looks pretty amazing.
It does.
Yeah.
Natalia, great. Yeah, so the only thing I would say, Natalia, is
a lot of work.
Yes. I would go over with purple on the purple flowers. If you have a bluer purple, I'd go over the top with that, and that'll push those forward. But this is beautiful. It's
Thank you.
Very, I really appreciate your working the, oh, we lost Rashmi. Okay, anybody else want to send it in? I do, I really love it. You guys are doing great. So very good work. This was a tough lesson. You all did amazing. It's not going to be as hard from here, I promise. And Sandra, we so love to see you. And I will talk to Diana and we will set a painting time that she will manage from her Zoom each week, if you want to. right, Diana?
Thank
You
you.
don't have any, right? You're like, so, and we'll try to set it at a time that you all can come. So maybe at this time, maybe 8 to 10 a.m. West Coast, US West Coast time, which would be 11 to 1 p.m. East Coast time, and then 4 o'clock in London and 5 o'clock in Europe and 9:30 p.m. in India. All right, you guys. All right, this video will be available. Marianne, please come back and join us. We want you to join us, all classes. And I love you guys. I'm glad to see you. Great work today, and we'll see you soon. Okay?
Thank you.
See you next week.
Bye.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care. Take care.